This video is sponsored by HelloFresh. Not everyone is good in the kitchen. Not everyone has time to dedicate in the kitchen. It's just how life gets for many of us. Thankfully, HelloFresh can help. HelloFresh is a meal delivery service that allows you to skip meal planning and grocery shopping. This leaves you more time to do things you actually want to do, like catch up on work, relax, find new music, instead of having to plan what to eat. What's great about HelloFresh is that setting up home meal deliveries is cheaper than grocery shopping and at least 25% cheaper than takeout. HelloFresh also offers veggie, pescatarian, and fit and wholesome meals to make it easy to stick to your goals. No matter what your diet is, HelloFresh can accommodate. Use my link in the video description or go to HelloFresh.com and use the code POGROCKEDFEB65 for 65% off your first order plus free shipping. Don't waste time grocery shopping. Have food sent to your door and don't settle for bad food or fast food again. Sign up for HelloFresh, eat great food, and save time and money. It's February, the month of love. So this video is going to talk about 10 breakup songs in rock. Valentine's Day is just one day in February. The first half of the month is either preparing for it or dreading it, and the second half of February is spent hating the very idea of love. So it's the perfect time to talk about breakup songs. Rules for the list: this is not a top 10, no ranking, just a list. Only one entry per artist as well. I'll be reaching out of standard rock as well, going into alternative, indie, etc., but it's still keeping it rock at heart. Finally, I know there are many breakup songs out there, and there's obviously more than 10. If you know of another, leave a comment, let everyone know. You know how these videos work, let's get to it. Grunge had a lot of feels back in the day, and Pearl Jam didn't shy away from them. As much of a legend as 10 is, a song like Black is a huge reason why the album and band became so massive. Black had been performed acoustic, covered by many other artists, and belted out by tons of people ever since the early 90s, even if many can't quite figure out all the lyrics due to Eddie Vedder singing. That was a joke, don't come after me. I love this song, the tone is dour, and you get hit in the feels with thinking about a past relationship, especially in this case, a first relationship. In the book Pearl Jam 20, Vedder said about this song, it's about first relationships, the song about letting go. It's very rare for a relationship to withstand Earth's gravitational pull and where it's going to take people and how they're going to grow. To quote Mr. Vedder, "I know someday you'll have a beautiful life. I know you'll be a star in somebody else's sky. But why can't it be, oh, can it be mine?" Sometimes it hurts to realize the one you love is moving on without you, but when it's a first relationship, it almost always ends up for the best. Seriously think about your first relationship ever. Are you happy it didn't work out? Probably. No matter how black it gets, it's worth it to grow and move on. I don't get to talk about Ben Folds 5 or whatever and ever amen enough, if ever. And that's a shame because this is an album I grew up with. He made piano a part of rock in a wild and interesting way, and even if not all of Folds' music holds up over the years, I will always have a soft spot for the song For the Dumped, as it is a snapshot of 90s alternative and also the perfect bitter, angry post-breakup track. Song For the Dumped is something bitter sounding lyrically, but when you hear the energy, it's great. It's an anthem for those who just got their heart ripped out and stomped on. You can't just get hurt though. You realize what you put into a bad relationship. You want your money back. You want your time back. You want back all the things you gave to your ex. I was young when I heard this song the first time, and I hadn't had a relationship at that point, and even I could understand the frustration and bitterness that comes out of a relationship ending and the emotions that come after that. It's something even those who can't completely empathize with still grasp the weight of that dumping. The weight of that dumping. Wow, I'm terrible. The jam session the song turns into also feels like venting through piano and distorted bass. It's just a cathartic song with the flash of Ben Folds 5 going to town on something seemingly simple and making soundtracks for it. It's meant to be fun, even if angry. What about when you need to break up or need to move on? What about when you know the person you obsess over is absolutely awful? Joan Jett has that territory covered. I Hate Myself for Loving You has been shouted out by angry adolescents and grown adults since 1988, and for good reason. Joan Jett knows we can all relate to being in love with a rotten human being and going against better judgment. Joan Jett paints a great picture with the lyrics of just how awful someone can be. It's hard not to sing along with this, and it's easy to envision someone in your life you know you should have never been interested in. This This isn't just teenage angst either. This is an expression after learning a life lesson the hard way. This song is great when you need help reinforcing that some people really are trash no matter how much you want to be with them, and you really need to realize your own worth. Break free from the things that they do and don't run back to them, even if you hate yourself for loving them. I also want to point out, I feel like Joan Jett is not the woman you would want to cross. I'm pretty sure she could make people disappear with one mean look. If this song was written about a specific someone in Jett's past, I don't know how they survived. Maybe they didn't. Point is, don't mess with Joan Jett. Going into alternative territory, Tame Impala do a fantastic job with striking, relatable lyrics delivered softly to help ease the impact. In the case of Eventually, Tame Impala give you the point of view of preparing yourself to break someone's heart. There's something about the soft electronic elements in the rhythm that really make the tone stand out as something big about to happen. Eventually is about the awful feeling of having to end a relationship. The lyrics are all brilliant though on what goes through a person's head in the anticipation of starting a breakup, but it's spearheaded by the chorus, I know that I'll be happier, and I know you will too, eventually. There's a moment when the music drops just for a second and you feel that moment of having to take action. It's so difficult, but it must be done. The line, I wish I could turn you back into a stranger, also hits hard because that way you would make the person forget about everything together in order to keep them from what's coming. Sometimes that feeling is you knowing you are going to damage someone with your words no matter how hard you soften them, but sometimes it has to be done. Tame Impala truly embodied those feelings before a tragic moment in a relationship. Rip it off like a band-aid. A massive, long-standing band-aid that is really gonna hurt. Continuing electronic indie rock, now that the Postal Service is returning for live shows this year, I'm gonna take this time to talk about one of the memorable songs they had with Nothing Better. Back in 2003, the one-off supergroup made a track about all the potential things that have been said or could be said during a breakup. It's a listen in on the thoughts and emotions and back and forth conversation. This is the electronic indie rock style years before those subgenres had any definition. Somehow the tone of the electronic backdrop and rhythm paired with some vicious statements from one former lover to another is this dissonant combination that makes the song great. My favorite lyrics come with, I've made charts and graphs that should finally make it clear. I've prepared a lecture on why I have to leave. When your partner whips up statistics and graphs along with a speech on why they should leave you, I promise it was already over long before the conversation started. Breakups many times are one-sided, and apologies don't mean much to someone who is trying desperately to get away from the other. Hearing the breakdown of a couple listing off why is a great listen to how some relationships need to end, with a whole lot of synth and electronic reverb in the background. Dozens of guitar tracks laid over each other across 6.5 minutes help the Smashing Pumpkins explain how misleading a relationship can be. Soma, originally named Coma, makes a strong case for how some people treat relationships like a drug. Total dependency on being in a relationship no matter how bad it is for you because you are given the illusion of it helping you somehow. 90s Smashing Pumpkins were a totally different beast, and they made so many relatable songs back then, including Soma, a track about realizing this drug you are on is making you feel safe, lulling you into a coma and keeping you at peace, but in reality it's building up and destroying you, and the more you have to rely on it. Same thing for that relationship. The track was inspired by Corgan's breakup with his ex-wife. He said years ago that the song is based on the idea that a love relationship is almost the same as opium. It slowly puts you to sleep, it soothes you, and gives you the illusion of sureness and security. Comparing your relationship to hard drug use is not a high compliment. It makes you think about how bad a relationship can get before it ends. You may need an intervention, you may need help getting away from it, but you know a relationship is toxic if you think it's something you need, while at the same time you know it's destroying you. You gotta kick the somas out, and the sooner the better. If you want to feel something, play The Cure. That's been an established go-to in music for longer than I've been alive. When you really want to feel something, you play Disintegration, specifically the 7-minute track Pictures of You. Looking back at old photos, that's something people can relate to. Looking back at it making you miserable or angry, that's when The Cure comes in. One legend goes that the song is based on Robert Smith being empowered after hearing an essay from Myra Paleo about how pictures of the past make it hard to escape and free yourself from that past moment. After a house fire and going through the remains of what was left, Smith saw past photos of his wife. Smith at one point destroyed all his old photos in an attempt to erase his past. He regretted doing it after. The track itself was then made to be written about past relationships and remembering what used to be from a photograph. Context is everything, and with bad relationships, that can be brutal. If only I thought of the right words, I wouldn't be breaking apart all of my pictures of you. It's interesting to think that one of the best writers in rock and music in general, who really grips the idea of remorse and love lost, is also one of the cheekiest men alive. There's something poetic about a man like Robert Smith singing this way and then never being serious in real life. Some breakups are gentle or mutual, but what about when you need to make it clear you are moving on to someone else? Halestorm have you covered with It's Not You. There is no subtlety or cautious words used as the song makes sure that it's not a case of it's not you, it's me, but rather I'm in love with somebody else and it's not you. Breaking hearts can be messy and sometimes necessary. Sometimes you gotta be vicious. If things are on the rocks and it's been going on for a while and you know your current partner is awful, you need to lay it out somehow. I'm not saying you should ever cheat, but I'm saying you deserve to be happy, and if the best way to do that is scream about how awful that person is and there's someone else out there better, then hopefully at least it's a wake-up call, and that way you can get on. Think of it as the other side of the broken-hearted or dumped conversation. Gloves off, opening up, and ending it with a defining statement that you are not enough and someone else has their eye. Sometimes that's brutal, but if the person has it coming, then Lizzie has such a great delivery. You can hear just a hint of anger in the vocals when she sings that chorus. It's perfectly delivered. That entire self-titled album from Halestorm has a ton of pent-up anger of past relationships. Lizzie and company really made a career out of it. And Halestorm is good reason for the one entry per artist rule on the list. They could have had a lot more spots. You couldn't hate enough to love. Time to get sad, real sad. Slipknot has a world of anger, but the song Snuff from All Hope Is Gone makes sure you are all set with sadness. I feel this is the track that proves Slipknot has more layers to them than Mass, and also that Corey Taylor is great at getting his point across through his own personal experience. Slipknot made many people turn their head with new attention after this. In Corey Taylor's description, this is the slow one, it's another personal one. Again, not naming names, it's about someone who helped me through a lot, and I thought she felt the same way that I did, and then she really let me down. At the same time, it was good that she did because it was the final push to me figuring out myself. The lyrics are pretty self-explanatory. The brooding and slower tone of Snuff sets up the exact mood you need in order to take the meaning of a song like this in. Knowing you are better off after being betrayed is how you know you're growing as a person and can handle loss and rejection in the right way. Quoting the song, "I only wish you weren't my friend, then I could hurt you in the end." As much as you want things to be different and you didn't want to have specific feelings for someone, that's how life is. In terms of a breakup, sometimes a friendship has to end in order for you to move on and become a better person. There were many breakup songs to choose from with Fleetwood Mac as they truly embodied the post-relationship lifestyle as a band. I decided to go your own way as this one is mostly synonymous about breaking up and ending a relationship that was already rough to begin with. Fleetwood Mac rarely pulled any punches, and here Lindsey Buckingham didn't care about feelings being hurt. Rumours is great for a lot of shared anger and hostility toward past lovers, and Lindsey Buckingham wrote it directly to Stevie Nicks about him being better off in life without her. Sometimes you realize you're better off without a past partner, but it's rare you try to make that past partner sing along about how awful they were. Stevie Nicks said in a 2009 interview, "It was certainly a message within the song, and not a very nice one at that." I feel like Nicks could have gone on a bit more in detail, but probably would have been censored a lot. I think the sing-along style and sounding so upbeat and giving that feeling of moving on and telling someone off, "Go Your Own Way" has stood the test of time as a go screw yourself style anthem. Don't worry about Stevie Nicks either. Not only is she tough, she got her own songs and lines about Buckingham in over the years. Everyone in the band did. That's just Fleetwood Mac at its core. And that was a look at 10 great rock breakup songs. What's another great breakup song in rock? Leave a comment and let everyone know. Big thanks to my patrons and special thanks to Chris Doman, Dom Noble, and Clark Walden. You can have a say in upcoming videos, get weekly new music playlists, and see videos early by supporting Rocked on Patreon and through YouTube memberships. Click the join button below or the link in the video description for more info on helping the channel. Please subscribe and ring the bell to get notified of upcoming videos, and you can keep up to date with Rocked on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. This whole video is meant to be fun, by the way. Don't actually start sending these songs to your exes and thinking something good is going to happen out of it. If anything, you'll just seem like they're lucky without you.